This is the 91st minute. All right, Arsenal narrowly defeated Everton. Their first win away at Goodison in some time. The same fixture last year was Sean Dyche's first game in charge, where they had the quote-unquote new manager bounce, and they had a nice performance against Arsenal last year. This year seems like Arsenal were able to overcome Everton away this time. Let's just go straight into it, Milo. I know you've been waiting to talk about it for an hour at least, but let's talk about it now. Let's talk about the game. How do you feel? How does it feel to get 3 points?
Obviously, 3 points is the minimum objective when you play any team that you expect to finish above. Everton have not exactly lit the world on fire of late. So for me, it was key that we got the win. And, you know, I've seen a lot of talk about how the win came about and yada, yada, yada. It was pretty routine. I mean, we controlled the game for 90 minutes and Everton didn't really test us. I think first thing is the lineup. Obviously, Raya came in for his first start. So Ramsdale on the bench, and no reason given other than, you know, this is his turn. So we'll see if Raya stays in. He faced one shot on target in the whole game. So not really an extreme test of Raya's abilities, but definitely whet the appetite for him. So I'm, you know, Arteta was quizzed about this and is, you know, people are trying to, like, I can tell that the media are trying to make it a thing, like Ramsdale versus right, like, and no one at the club is buying it, so it's not really turning into a thing. They would love it to be a thing, but Arteta spoke after the game, an interesting comment. I was going to get to this later, but let's talk about it now.
Sure.
He said, "Why can't I sub a keeper on if I want to?" You know what I mean? Like, and when I think about what he's saying, it does make sense what he's saying. No one's ever really done it before. My first reaction is, oh my God, that's an awful idea, because, you know, you're sort of like changing the stability at the back if the keeper's had a good game. But I feel like if the keeper's had a good game, maybe he wouldn't do it. You know what I mean? Like, if the keeper's having a rough time of it, make a sub. Most teams don't do that. It's not a bad idea. I'm actually like, he said he was too scared to do it. He thought about doing it before, and he was too fearful, I think is the word he used. Mm-hmm. He was too fearful to pull the trigger and try that. I mean, you know, forget being an innovator, all that stuff. Like, it, you know, what do you guys think about that idea? And like, are you like, oh my God, no? Or like, that's not actually a bad idea?
I don't think it's a terrible idea. I don't know. I mean, you see it with penalty shootouts sometimes. Still pretty rare without injuries involved, but I don't think I don't know. They have so little influence just in general. I know, like, there are moments of influence, but in general, they see so little of the ball. It's hard to justify making that one of your limited moves that you have throughout a game. Yeah, but I don't know. I haven't really thought about that. That's a good one.
I just thought it was an interesting comment. Carl, what do you think about that? About those comments?
I think that's good. I mean, with the 5 substitutions, it does open up that idea a little more. It makes it a little more plausible. I think, for example, we'll talk a little later about Brighton. Brighton just immediately switched their goalkeeper. Just, you know, they have 2 goalkeepers who can play the way they want to play, just ready to go, and both are gaining confidence. Which now bring back to Arsenal. That's what I think is good. You need to have 2. It's good to have 2 goalkeepers that have confidence, and to be able to interchange the team regularly, as we learned with Brighton, which I don't think is a bad thing in the slightest, because you know, I think that'll just raise the overall confidence of the squad. And why not do it to the keeper? were Arteta's comments about switching the goalkeeper, like he said something like in the 45th minute, I wanted to change the goalkeeper. I wanted to change the goalkeeper at 60th minute or something. He said, or
it was
like
around
that, right?
65 minutes, and he referenced a couple of games from last season. Not this season.
It was like 4 occasions or something.
Yeah, and like, you know, he's literally thinking about it. The way it came across to me is he's thinking about it like, you know, like you would sub on a midfielder for someone that's got tired legs, or you want to change shape. I don't see the need for it unless your keeper's having a bad game. Like, I like ice hockey. If your goalie's getting pelted, you pull the goalie and you stick the other guy in. Like, it's normal. So, like, with that being said, we never see that, right? We never see a keeper getting yanked, and usually the rest of the team will take the brunt. Only if a goalkeeper makes a specific error do we tend to kind of talk about him. You know what I mean? Like, it often is more about what went wrong higher up the pitch to allow that opportunity. And I think that's fair. We often, you know, we'll talk about a midfielder losing a ball, or a defender not picking up his man, or, you know what I mean? It's rare that, unless the keeper actually has a clanger, it's rare that we blame him specifically. Is
I think it's also maybe it seems because at the only example I have of a team that's changing goalkeeper frequently is Brighton. So I don't mean to talk about the United game. I'm just referencing Brighton.
We'll get that car. I know you're so excited.
No. The fact that it's Ramsdale, I think, adds a different element to this as well. You know, British. We signed him young. You know, there's people like, I remember a couple of weeks ago when Raya signed, we were always wondering, when is Ramsdale going to get benched, right? And it's almost a smart idea by Arteta to just bench him when Ramsdale is in form, almost, instead of waiting for him to make a mistake or something, you know, and to give Raya these minutes, right? So there's many ways to look at it. I think the way he did it today, he could use the international break because I think Ramsdale played, right? Didn't he play in the international break?
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either. Maybe he could use that as an excuse to
shows
say,
you how much I paid attention to the international games.
Yeah. Well, you could say, like, Raya had the whole week off. Ramsdale played an extra game. It's a good time for Ramsdale to get some rest or something. You know, you could maybe, like, you know, do some things like that. But I really like it. I really like the idea of having, just like you could change Nketiah and Jesus, you can change Ramsdale and Raya. You can change, you know, Gabriel and Ben White. I don't know who else.
Yeah.
But, you know, I mean, it's full squad ability to rotate. And also, you know, if Ramsdale gets injured, now other teams will look at this and be like, oh, that's not really a negative because they have Raya and he's already played. Anyways.
Yeah, I think that it's going to be, you know, it's going to be one of those things that will be hard to sustain long term, because if you have we talked about this when we got Raya, and it is that keeping 2 goalkeepers that can play at this level happy and not being able to start every game it could be tough. But anyway, we'll see what happens. Yeah, I thought it was interesting. So as for the rest of the game, I can see a lot of talk from people whose teams are yet to play away at Everton, so I'm looking forward to those games. What I will say is this: look, winning games by slender margin, like, say what you want about the game, we controlled it for 90 minutes. Everton weren't a threat. We won the game. That is all that matters. All the rest of it doesn't matter to me. It really doesn't matter. Would I like to see us become more clinical and more ruthless in the attack? Yes, I think that will come as the team shape and balance gets back to a more familiar thing. And we can talk about that because Fabio Vieira came in for Havertz for the first time this season. Vieira started. The shape of the team, to me, and the balance of the team was a lot better and a lot more like what we're used to seeing. I don't know if he's going to stick with that moving forward, but if he does, I think that we'll see the attack start to light up a bit more like it did last year. So going forward, we're scoring goals, we're winning games, but is it as, like, and here's the thing, where a friend of mine who's a big Arsenal fan was talking to me about it, and he was saying, you know, Arteta is trying to be more controlled He wants the team to be more controlled instead of swashbuckling. Last year was very attacking, very swashbuckling, but you know, it came back to haunt us. I really think he's trying to educate the team to be able to control games a bit more at all stages of the game, not just in the moments where they're on top pressure-wise. So whether that's true or not, I think that is an interesting way to look at it, and it might be the case. I mean, we'll find out as the season goes on. But the goal, Saka's assist to a lovely finish from Trossard. Trossard looked pretty good when he came on. Overall, like I say, 3 points is all that matters. Away from home, I'll take it. It doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter to me. So next up, the North London Derby. So a big game given Tottenham, and I'm sure we'll discuss them in their own segment. But yeah, I mean, that's about it. Pretty uneventful game, to be honest, apart from that.
Yeah, there was one offside call. Ball deflected off of. Martinelli scored, but they called it a offside. Do you remember that? The ball deflected off Beto. It was early in the first half, I think.
They called. Yeah, they said Nketiah, I think, came back from an offside position to play it. Yeah, I mean, the replay of it. I mean, if they're telling me it's offside, I mean, how can I argue? It's no different to the incident between our two teams a couple of weeks ago.
Well, so the question that arises from that is, did Beto deliberately play the ball or not? That's what they were. That's what.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I saw something about that today. That maybe it came off of him. Yeah.
No, it did come off Beto, but they were saying that because he did not play the ball, right? Even though, like, I don't know. When you make it,
you're getting into phases of play and stuff. Then
no. So it happened in the Champions League final, Liverpool Madrid, when Benzema scored. Someone made a slide tackle, and they were saying because it was, I can't remember what actually happened because it's so confusing, but it's an interesting idea, this idea of deliberately playing the ball. Beto deliberately tried to block the ball there, you know?
Yeah.
And then I don't know. There weren't much talking points from the game. That's one I read. There
wasn't. I mean, for me, like, you know, had it been 0-0 or had we been 1-0 down, maybe I'd care more about that particular incident.
Isn't that interesting?
But,
yeah. That's how it goes.
It is, and also where, you know, like most people, once you've finished one game, you're kind of looking ahead to the next, right?
Yeah. You guys, who do you guys play in the Champions League this week?
PSV.
Ooh, that'll be fun.
Yeah,
away
PSV.
or home?
I don't know, actually. I haven't looked yet, to be honest.
I bet they would be more hyped up if it was at home. I bet it's away.
Maybe. That's an interesting point. But I just purely haven't looked at the fixture list this week. So
okay.
That's the only reason I don't know.
PSV has, who do they have? They have somebody. They have some players that play football. That's what I know.
Oh, it's a home match. According to our sources in chat, it is a home match. So
for Arsenal.
That's good. Yeah.
Oh, that's going to be great. That's going to be great for the fans. Yeah, anything else to add, Hoff, about Arsenal?
I care a lot about being back in the Champions League, but whether we're home or away is, again, really at this point, doesn't matter. We got to...
but a European night back at the Emirates, it's not, it doesn't give you warm fuzzies. It's getting darker earlier as well.
If I still had season tickets, it'd probably give me warmer fuzzies. I mean, what can I do, man? I'm going to be at work on Wednesday. So I will have the game on my phone, most likely, in the background. So there you go.
Subscribe to the 91st Minute here on YouTube and use the links in the description to follow us on all social media platforms.